Fun? No. Lee and Herring. From Fist of Fun. Due to legal difficulties. Fist. Fist. Fun. Fun.
It's Lee and Herring live from BBC Two's Fist of Fun, so please go mad for your host!
Fun!
All right, there's no need to be sarcastic. I'm Stuart Lee.
And my given name is Richard Herring. Thanks for coming along. It's been very nice. What are these crates doing here? We didn't use the crates.
Yeah, no, we have to keep one step ahead. That's just what they're expecting now. So.
The crates are good. It's a good gimmick. I like the
rubbish.
crates.
All gimmicks. We go, get rid of the crates. No more crates.
They're good coming out of the crates. It's
They're
good.
pathetic,
That's
really.
like Rod Hull without Emu Us without the crates. And we all know what that's like. It's good when PJ and Duncan came out.
Yeah, all right, leave it now. Don't wind me up.
I like that. It's good.
I'm in a really bad mood as well because
Why?
we're supposed to have these really discreet little radio mics and you kind of look really free and cool, but actually they've bust today, so we've had to wear these really awful ones that make you look like you're Captain Scarlet, which I think are really.
I like them. I think they're good for that very reason.
Yeah.
I think I can pretend I'm Captain Scarlet.
Yeah,
Captain Scarlet to Stuart.
Shut up! I'm not going to.
Hello.
28 years old.
It's good. It's like I'll tell you who else it's like as well.
What?
It's like in Scavengers, John Leslie and Scavengers.
For Christ's
I'm really hard. I'm a really hard space commander.
Yeah, all right, okay.
I'm a bit of a twat. I finished with Captain
Stop.
Zeta Jones. And best of all, you know who it's like. Best of all.
No, who else
Best
wore one
of
of
all,
these?
it's like David Baddiel wore one of these, didn't he, in his Wembley video? Remember?
Yeah.
Brilliant. David Baddiel off the telly. Yeah, brilliant. Like him. We're the same as him. I'm like David Baddiel. You're like Rob Newman.
Yes,
he had
thank
one as
you,
well.
Rich, yeah.
That's you. That is. That's what he says, isn't it? That's you.
Rich,
That it is.
Given
What?
that we are suffering lazy
What?
journalistic comparisons to that very comedy duo, might I suggest that you don't come on and act delighted that you are sharing a similar microphone to one of them? It's asking for trouble, isn't it?
David Baddiel, though,
Leave it out now.
of the fantasy football and Stab in the Dark.
Right,
I know,
okay.
it's brilliant. He's great. That's you. That it is. I'm David Baddiel. You're Rob Newman. It seems a bit hypocritical of you to complain about it when, if you remember, we were watching telly about 5 years ago, watching the Mary Whitehouse Experience, and you remember you said we should just copy this,
Right.
but with different faces than they had, and
It's gone all right as well.
you said I'll act really cool and be like Rob Newman, and really stupidly cool, and you be like David Baddiel and act like a twat. That's what you said. Remember?
Well, Rich, we'd have got away with it as well, wouldn't we, if you hadn't just pointed it out in front of us?
Oh yeah, I didn't
these
think. Sorry
people.
about that. No, we didn't really copy them. We didn't. No, we copied the goodies really.
That's
Actually, much better because a lot of you are too young to remember it the first time round. You see, so we win.
Yeah, Lee.
Good.
We've been here all afternoon and wandering around. We try and sort of gauge how to pitch a show by looking at the standard of graffiti in a place to kind of work out the sense of humour. We went in the gents' toilets here. We went in together to look at the graffiti at about 2 this afternoon. And in the cubicle there, up the wall, in 6-inch high capital letters, right, it said, "Suck my cock, suck my cock." I thought, what a stupid, pathetic, stupid, ignorant, stupid thing that is to write. There's no name, no phone number, no address, nothing.
How are we going to get in touch with you? What a waste of ink.
Think about it.
Waste of ink. I saw a good piece of graffiti actually in Edinburgh, where we've just come from. Someone in one of the toilets there had written, "I am 12 inches, do you want me?" Which is quite funny, admittedly, but underneath someone else had written, "That depends on how big your cock is." So that's funny. That's a good piece of graffiti.
it is good.
Yeah. So look, Stu? What is this Fist of Fun show all about that
Which is
people
not-
should talk about?
It's not called Fist of Fun here, as you well know. It's called Lee and Herring from Fist of Fun due to legal difficulties.
Oh yeah, I remember
Right,
that.
bear
Yeah.
that in mind.
What is that show, that Legal Difficulties show, all about then? I don't understand
Well,
it. What the youngsters see in that?
If
It's
you've
just-
seen the show,
just blokes talking. That's all I can see.
if you've seen the show,
Going
you'll know
on too long
you'll
about
know
stuff.
the basic areas that we'll be looking at tonight, all the most important aspects of modern 1995 life. That's things like sex, drugs, violence, the internet,
The internet.
skateboarding as well, rap music, woolly hats and stuff, and you know, and what to watch on TV in the afternoon as well.
Mainly
that.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a kids' show, Why Don't You? But with a bit more swearing in it than they had. And less of those little sort of tennis ball speaking
Yeah.
thing.
And if any of those tennis ball squeaking things do appear in the next hour or so, bear in mind they will definitely be swearing.
Bollocks. Yeah, they will. And remember, it all comes from the perspective of two emotionally stunted, overeducated men in their late 20s who've never done a decent day's work in their lives and who rarely venture out of their houses for fear of missing an unscheduled episode of Going for Gold.
Yeah.
You never know when they're going to slip that one on, do you? Unless you've got the Radio Times.
But remember, this is your show, right? It's supposed to be about your lives, your concerns, the issues that affect you. It's for you. It is very much your show.
Your
It is for
video.
you.
Yours.
And for you at home as well. It's for you. It is for you. It's yours. Although it is me and Rich that get all the money for doing it, obviously. Not you. We get
Fair
that
enough,
money.
isn't it? Yeah.
You get it.
We get it, that's only fair. Ironically, you have to pay either to come in here or for the video. Thanks. Very good, isn't it?
Probably, and the irony is probably the person that's watching that at home has just paid like 49p for it in 1998 in a kind of bin in the newsagents. That would be the thing.
This is what the people of the past used to laugh at.
It was good, wasn't
Can you
it?
believe it? They were crazy back then, weren't they? Now with your blur drugs you've got and stuff, that stuff you've got, I expect.
Before we
Don't know, do I? I don't know what they've
know.
got.
It could be
Not
anything.
Nostradamus, that
Before we press on, we've got a couple of announcements
announcements.
from the management here at the Cochrane Theatre.
Yeah. First up, if the owner of car C743PFJ is in, could you go out? You've left your headlights on out in the road. If you could go and turn them off, as an old man has become entrapped in the glare. He's bedazzled, you know. He can't quite work out what to do. So if you could go and turn them off, you can go and get on with his way there, please.
And is the man from Somerset rich?
That information isn't here.
It's not there, okay. There's a telegram in from the States for Tim Harris, from your cousin Jane. Jane says, the blood test results are through, and the child is yours.
Oh,
there.
that's good news.
So, good news for Tim Harris there. He's found out he's a father here tonight at the Cochrane. Round of applause for him, please.
Round of applause. Tim, very good.
But not too much for a round of applause, because, of course, he is obviously only a fictional character. Anyway,
What?
what have you been up to this week, Rich? What
Well,
have you been
it's
doing?
been a terrible week for me, Stuart.
Why?
Because my girlfriend, who, as you know, is a princess, was kidnapped, right, by a huge space monster, right? It's terrible. I've been going out there a couple of months. I thought I'd better go after her. It's only
Right.
polite.
Fair enough.
And I was forced to go over this sort of series of platforms and leaps and ladders and just swim about underwater, all kinds of malarkey. You wouldn't believe it. And I had to sort of jump on the heads of these little creatures, and then they'd just disappear like that. And it was, and then eventually, right, I came across this giant mushroom in front of me, the size of a small child, right? And I ate that. I mean, I like mushrooms, they're delicious, but it was quite a struggle to eat that much mushrooms, but I did. And that gave me magic powers by where I was able to smite the monster I mentioned earlier, if you remember,
Yes,
a few minutes
the
ago
monster,
now.
yes.
Yeah. And save my girlfriend, so it all turned out all right in the end. But, a bit touch and go for a while, it's quite worrying, really. Whew.
It's a fascinating tale that you've woven there, Rich.
Yeah.
Well, I think on reflection, when you watch this back, you'll see that what you've done, right, is you've confused a week in your life with the computer game Super Mario Brothers, haven't you?
Yes,
You
I
to.
have, yeah.
What
So,
you've just
yeah.
described, that's Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah, it is. That's what I've been doing this week is playing Super Mario Brothers
so.
on my computer, you know, but it's very vivid, isn't it, when you're at it? It's like you're actually there, you know what I mean? It's incredible.
So that's
yeah.
an easy mistake for Rich to make, that mistake there, because remember, Rich did grow up in Somerset, and of course, they didn't have sophisticated games like that there, did they? No, they didn't. The most sophisticated game they had as kids in Cheddar, all the kids would sit in a ring, right, in the soil, and press their thumbs really hard into their eye sockets like that. And then pretend they were flying down the title sequence of Doctor Who. And look, the Silurians.
Yeah.
I've seen the Silurians.
As
there.
you well know, Stuart Lee, my friend Philip Fry had one of those Space Invader digital watches as early as 1993. So get your facts right.
Didn't know how to use it though, did he?
No, but he liked playing with the like button facility, you know, giving himself a bit of a scare. Whoa, whoa. And he liked doing the stopwatch, you know, trying to stop the stopwatch as near to the beginning as he could, you know.
And his best time there was?
It was 13 minutes 4 seconds .02.
And he went on to become the reflex king of Somerset, didn't he, for that? Somerset's fastest man. He was...
Well, only for a year. It's a
Only
yearly
for a year,
post. You
admittedly,
know,
yeah.
that was 1994.
He did well,
isn't
didn't he?
anymore.
I know.
Brian Bancroft is now.
Right.
But anyway, so what have you in turn been up to in turn?
I'm glad you asked, Rich. This week, I stayed up all night at the weekend, drank 6 pints of lager, half a bottle of gin, half a bottle of whiskey, smoked 4 packs of cigarettes, took 2 lines of speed and a tab of acid, and then drove 400 miles off my face from London right down to Avebury in Wiltshire and back. Then I had to check myself into the casualty department of the Tooting St George's Hospital with a suspected heart attack.
This idiot. Twat.
Now, you might call that a stupid and irresponsible way to behave, but I call it a fucking good Friday night out.
No, Stu, listen, you have to be careful now, because now, believe it or not, I don't know how, people look up to you now. You're kind of role model to a whole generation of young people. Look at all that. I mean, look, just have to look down here in the front row. Here, look. A girl there has literally grown her hair exactly like yours. Look at that. With a stupid, ridiculous fringe that only an idiot would have. Although I noticed she hasn't managed to get this bit going back here like that. How'd you do that, Stu?
That comes with time, that does,
Right, okay.
yeah.
You know, you've got to be careful. So you shouldn't go on about taking drugs. You know, it's not clever. You're influencing people. They might, you know, get harmed. You know, I'd just like to say, for balance, in all seriousness, please, you know, I think all drugs are evil. Please don't take drugs. Anyone who takes drugs, mate, is a twat. That's for you at home, okay? Anyone who takes drugs is a twat, and all drugs should be banned. Even drugs used in hospitals to help sick little children and old people. I mean, I think you've got to be consistent in your bigoted views, you know. For example, I was at Glastonbury earlier this year, and a bloke came up to me and he said, "Would you like to buy some magic mushrooms, man?" Because that is, of course, of how drug dealers speak.
like that, yeah.
As you'll know if you watch the Russ Abbott show. And it is. They came, "Would you like to buy some magic mushroom, man?" Because that's what they say. And I said, "No. No, I wouldn't like to buy any of your magic mushrooms, mister. No. I happen to think ordinary mushrooms are magic enough. Especially on toast with a bit of cheese. Delicious." So he went and tried some, came back and said, "You were right, yeah. I mean, your mushrooms, your ordinary mushrooms, they're succulent, tasty, delicious. Mine are all sort of shriveled up and horrible and horrible. And also, when I eat these magic mushrooms, I get, like, horrible things flying in at my face. You don't get that with ordinary mushrooms."
No.
So he went off, got his haircut, got a job in the city. It all turned out all right.
Great. In contrast to Rich, I have a very different opinion to him, and I think that all drugs are really good all across the board, and that is just one of the many false differences between us that we've contrived in order to try and become a successful double act.
It's good you'll notice, Stu, he's dressed all in black. Yeah, look how colourful some of my clothing is. How different can we be? We're so different.
And look, behold my face.
Grumpy, curmudgeonly face. Look how happy I am for the majority of the time. How different can we
So
be? We're
different.
completely different, aren't we?
But I think drugs are really good across the board. Like, take magic mushrooms, for example, right? They're magic for 2 reasons, okay? 1, because they break down the user's perception of the so-called real world and access the kingdom of the imagination. And 2, because if you spend a Sunday afternoon picking them and a Monday morning selling them to school kids, you can make over 200 quid for a weekend's work. And that's magic, I think, in a very real sense.
Yeah.
But what I think is, you know, arguably in a controlled environment, if you're not doing it, if it's safe, any other conditions where you could say, okay, fair enough, take those. But I think it's terrible whenever you see anyone who's become dependent on any sort of substance. That's a terrible thing to have happened to anyone.
Stuart Graham Lee. There are none. The truth hurts, I know, but Stuart Graham Lee from BSB's Up Your News.
Yes, Richard Keith Herring.
Oh, Oscar Wilde would be proud of that. There are none so blind as blind people. I think you'll find. I think on a scale of blindness, they're right at one end. Most blind. There's bar chart of blindness, biggest bar for the blind. But you know, it's not just LSD, magic mushrooms that are drugs, is it?
No, it's crack as well.
No, I'm not talking about crack.
And heroin as
No,
well.
I'm not talking
about... And temazepam.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the drug that we on planet Earth call extra mild silk cut cigarettes.
Ridiculous, mate.
See, it's making me cough. That is a drug as well, you know. And it's doing you terrible harm to you. I worry about you. I care about you a lot. You know,
don't.
It's doing you terrible harm. If you could see your lungs outside of your body, you'd never smoke again.
I wouldn't be able to, would I, Rich? And I wouldn't be thinking, I must stop smoking. I'd be thinking, how can I get those lungs back inside there so that I can respire? That would be what I'd be thinking. Actually, Rich, I've noticed just down there, there's a bloke who's he's tried to imitate you and copy you, hasn't he? Look, can you see? He's tried to look like an extremely overweight young Michael J. Fox. Can you see that? It's worked very well. He looks like that's what.
Well, I've just noticed over there. See, there's a bloke who's tried to copy you by looking like an extremely overweight Terry Christian.
Oh yes.
And further, I noticed a bloke over there has chosen to copy you by looking like an extremely overweight Roland Gift from Fine Young Cannibals.
Oh yes.
And further, I noticed a bloke over there has tried to copy you by looking like an extremely overweight Tucker Jenkins from Grange Hill.
Right.
But with Mark Fowler from EastEnders haircut.
Yeah, I see.
And a bloke over there's tried to look like you by looking like an extremely overweight version of the bloke from Everything But the Girl.
Right. And I notice next to him in turn, Rich, there's a bloke who's tried to emulate you by looking like an extremely overweight version of the woman from Everything But the Girl. And next to him, again, there is another bloke who's tried to copy you by looking like some dog's muck. And he's the one that's done the best.
Your repartee is stunning tonight.
It is, isn't it?
It is worthy of Oscar Wilde.
Thank you.
Anyway, now it's time for our first natural break. Like on Anne and Nick, and let's face it, the natural breaks are the only bit that are any good on Anne and Nick, because you don't have to look at Anne and Nick's stupid crying faces for a couple of minutes. So, you may remember on the series we met the girl who smelt of spam. Unfortunately, she couldn't be with us after the show. She was readmitted to a psychiatric hospital. But we have got for you the man who smells of shit. Will you please welcome in our lifestyle expert, Peter. Come on, give it up for Peter. Yeah, come on, Peter. Here he is. Come on, Peter. Come on, Pete.
Sorry.
Hurry up.
Yes, sorry.
You could have put all this stuff out earlier, couldn't you? Hurry up.
Sorry.
Look, you're wasting... Look, the people at home have paid, like... The people at home have paid 49p for this video in 1998, mate, and you've just wasted about 2 minutes there getting all that stuff on.
Sorry.
They'll be furious. Go on with it.
My bed and...
Shut up.
Sorry. Hello, it's Donny, my friend Donny Oddlegs there. So. Say hello, Donny. Hello, I'm Peter, and I'm here with lots of exciting lifestyle ideas and recipes and things that I wrote with my brother Charlie that are for absolutely everybody, but I suppose especially the young, single, 31-year-old stinking Welsh virgin who now lives in Balham in southwest London, and Charlie, who's 37. Anyway, time for my first thing, and it's a recipe. Because after all, what can be more fun than eating? Apart from sitting in your bedsit all day, of course, with the curtains closed, looking at the stain on the wall that looks like a soldier with a lamb stuck to his eye. Anyway, on with the fun. And my first recipe, this is my recipe book, by the way, which me and Charlie based on Delia Smith's One Is Fun cookery book. Ours is called One Is Quite Lonely. It's the pages in there. We couldn't afford, like, nice pictures of the food, so we've just sort of smeared some on the page there. Chops! That was... Right, anyway, my first recipe is a delicious cooling snack for the summer, and it's called Simple Summer Fries. And for this, you need a big bag of frozen oven chips and a bowl. What you do is open the bag of chips like that. See, I've done that already. Then pour the chips in the bowl and eat them. And that's particularly delicious with a side salad of 80 silk cut cigarettes. Oh, and if you want a nice cold drink to wash that down with, then why not get a big lump of frozen sausage meat, put it in a cup, add a bit of cold water, mix it all up, pork slush puppies. Look, here's one I made earlier. Lovely. It's very delicious, that, but the only trouble is you might die, of course, you know. Same with dog food, you know. It's like we all like a nice tin of pedigree chum, don't we? But I don't think it's very good for people because it's made from donkeys or something. I don't know, maybe it's not very good for dogs as well. And that's why they only live to about 12. Can't resist. Okay, next up. Here's a brilliant way to start the day. Beer. Thank you. Didn't know there was anyone sadder than me. Never mind. Okay, time for another nice recipe. And this is a fun one with a Balham theme. Right, for this you need a packet of extra strong mints, like that. And what you do is take all the mints out of the packet, then write Balham on either side of each of them, like that. Then stick them all together with super glue. Balham Rock. Right, continuing the theme of Balham, one of the really good things about having no friends or any money or anything to do ever is that you get plenty of time to look around Balham and the many exciting things that happen. Here's my exciting Peter's Guide to Balham. Number 1, comedy. If you want some advice on what comedy to go and see in Balham, why not go and talk to the red-faced, bare-chested old man who stands by the bottle bank all day, drinking medicine and laughing his head off. He's obviously seen something hilarious. Number 2, there's an exhibition of things which cost £1 at the Everything a Pound Shop Gallery on the High Road. My favourite exhibits are the sort of small plastic horses they have that are copied from My Little Pony and are called My Plastic Horse. They've also got some really good copied cleaning stuff exhibits as well, like K-cloths, Domesto bleach, and toilet hen. Number 3, if you like boxing, why not go back up to the High Road and stand by the bottle bank, where at about 8 o'clock, the red-faced medicine-drinking old man stops laughing his head off and starts having a fight with a wee-smelling old lady who pushes a dog around Balham in a pram. They don't always fight, sometimes they have sex. One time they were having a fight and sex at the same time. And being sick. That was horrible. Number 4, if you haven't got a telly, because the man in the bed sitting next to yours with the big spider tattooed on his face came in your room and said, "I'm having your telly," then why not go up to the High Road and stand by the British Rail station, and every time the tannoy announcement goes, "Balham, this is Balham," just sort of look out over Balham and imagine you're watching a documentary about Balham. And every 15 minutes you look at the Benson and Hedges poster on the wall. That's the advert. Finally, if you'd like to see a rock concert, an open-air rock concert, why not go back up to the bottle bank, but stand about a quarter of a mile from it and try to make out the red-faced medicine-drinking old man who at about 11 o'clock every night starts jumping around and singing Eye of the Tiger. And the wee-smelling old lady sort of pulls down her knickers and shows her lady winky to the traffic. Right, that's those. Thank you very much.
Shut up. Shut up. Come here, Pete. Pete, come here. Come here, I'm not going to hurt you, am I? Now, come here. A lot of people have been saying I bully you, and I don't think that's fair. And just to show there's no hard... No, sorry. Just to show there's no hard feelings.
Did your hand slip there?
Yeah, it did a bit, sorry. I brought you this can of new Tango blackcurrant. I hope you enjoy it. It should be delicious.
Thank you very much.
It didn't work very well, so it's meant to all fizz up, but I'll just do that instead. Just the same, isn't it? You know, I don't want him to have anything to drink. And remember, the more you sympathise with Pete, the more I will bully him. Bring a man out here, get it off. We don't want that rubbish on here, soiling our stage. All right, Pete, go to bed. Get into bed. Shut up.
Can I get Donny Oddlegs, please?
All right. Come on, hurry up.
He's got better, hasn't he, Donny Oddlegs?
Yes.
We'll see if he stays that way.
Thank you.
All right. Anyway, the next subject we're going to be looking at tonight is the subject of sex. And
Stop upstaging us, Pete, or I'll go to sleep.
I was just lying here.
Well, don't. Start again, Stu.
he acts all innocent, but he knows what he's doing. Very calculating man, he is. Aren't you? You are.
I can't add.
The next subject we're going to be looking at tonight is the subject of sex. And there's nothing funny or rude or smutty or dirty or wrong or filthy about the idea of sex. And so there's no reason why here tonight at the Cochrane, Theatre, we shouldn't be able to discuss the subject of sex in a mature and an adult and reasonable and thoughtful and intelligent, sensitive way.
Nice!
Ah, yes, there is a reason, and the reason is Richard Herring. There he is. Yeah.
I know all about sex, Stu.
Well, clearly you don't, Rich, because that isn't sex, that's skiing there.
I wondered why I was getting so cold.
Yeah, that'd be it. And it would explain why you won all those downhill slalom prizes.
I thought that was for sex.
No, it's skiing.
Oh. But I know all about sex, Stu. And I saw a bear lady once. It was in a mortuary, but it
Yeah.
still counts.
You got sacked from that job, didn't you?
I did on that occasion. But I haven't had a serious relationship partner for about 3 years now for some reason. How quickly their sympathies change.
Yeah. 3 years, it is
Yeah.
strange that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially when you consider that the mayflies, for example, right? The mayfly creature has only 3 hours in between hatching and dying, right, in which to find a mate. And yet they always succeed, okay? So if a small, unpleasant fly can manage to form a successful relationship in an eighth of a day, you'd think you could have managed it in 28 years, wouldn't you?
You see, Stu, the thing is, I am more choosy than a fly, aren't I? I'd never try and get off with a fly, for a start. Well, not unless I was really drunk. All right, Stu, you've badgered me into it. Your questions, accusations, questions. I did once get off with a fly at New Year, all right? And it was quite good, actually, because I don't know if you know this, but a gnat's chuff is literally as tight as a gnat's chuff. So it's That's it. That's the wings there. You've got to hold on to that. You have to be careful because if you're a bit rough, they can come off, and then just shagging an ant, which is perverted, you know.
And that sound I can hear there, Rich, is that the sound of you or is that the gnat?
Well, it's obviously me. I'm holding onto the wings. That's how a gnat
Right,
makes
right,
its noise, so it can't make any noise. You love it, you whore. A gnat's chuff, Stu, I will reiterate it, in case you didn't understand, is as tight as a gnat's chuff.
Yeah, Richard, there is a simple reason for that, isn't there? A simple reason, in as much as the reason being that a gnat's chuff is literally the chuff of a gnat, isn't it? Chuff to gnat. It is. So what you've done there, right, is you've misunderstood the art of simile. you've confused the idea of being like something or similar, comparable to it, with the idea of actually being exactly the same, with actually being the thing itself. Mix those up.
No.
You have.
Yes,
You
I
have.
have. Yeah, actually, I'm thinking about it. Sorry, yeah, sorry.
Don't worry though, if you're in a long-term sexual relationship, it's got a bit boring as so many of them do. Don't worry, we've got some tips of ways for you to spice it up. And here is the first one. This is something you want to try, right? Get a Mars bar, okay, unwrap it, put it in a Pyrex dish, put it in some boiling water, melt it down into a kind of paste there. And then if you can pour that paste on your lover's genitals, and apparently that's really nice if you just lick it off then.
Seems like a bit of a waste of a perfectly good Mars bar to me. The thing is, Mars bars taste really nice, and genitals, generally they taste a bit sort of genitally, really. So, although you would improve that genital taste by putting some Mars bar upon it,
Yes.
I would argue that the Mars bar taste itself would be impaired. By the genitals, I believe you mentioned earlier.
Did I?
I think so, if
Right.
you remember.
Yeah.
The way I look at it is if Mr. Mars had wanted his Mars bars to taste of genitals, why? He would have put some genitals in the recipe, wouldn't he? Like the bloke who invented Scampi fries did to such great commercial success. Do you see anywhere men's genitals, extracts of men's genitals, things off men's genitals?
Yes, there.
Stuff off Mr. Mars's genitals.
That's
Bloody
right,
hell,
you
there is some. I always looked as Mr. Mars sort of a nice avuncular figure, but
He's not.
all the time he's been laughing behind our backs, isn't it? There's a tiny amount, however small, in every Mars bar, there's a small amount of something off his cock. Every time he sees someone eating one of those, he's laughing inside and slightly aroused, I would argue. Oops.
What a sinister figure.
He is.
Next thing.
He seems
You
so
might wanna
nice,
try.
doesn't he? Mr.
Next thing you
Mars.
want to try. This is something that my girlfriend encouraged us to experiment with. It's fantasy and role play. She used to like it if I dressed up in this ski mask like this, right? And then burst into a flat unannounced at night, and then we would sort of have sort of surprise making love kind of session. And that was going really well until she went away for a bit without telling me. And her granddad went to stay in the room. Things got a bit out of hand there. The police became involved.
Yeah, you had to finish with your girlfriend after that particular incident. didn't you,
Yeah, I
Steve?
did, yeah.
But you are now going out with a granddad, so every cloud's got a silver lining, hasn't it, ladies
And it's
and
good
gentlemen?
actually, because I find he's a lot more open-minded
Yeah.
than her. You know, he's prepared to
Yeah.
give these unusual things a go within the limits imposed by his gout and arthritis, obviously.
But another thing you might like to try, if you're in a long-term relationship, a sexual relationship, you find things have got a bit boring, why not try a bit of bondage, right? What you've got to do is get your lover, blindfold them, get some rope, some chains, tie them very tightly to the bed or radiator, and then go out and fuck someone else, which is interesting. It's a variety, you know. It's better than just sleeping with the same person all the time, which is boring, obviously. Try that, it's good.
Last thing you might want to have a go at is this. If you're very much in love with the person you're going out with, why not try urinating over them? Now, there's two good reasons for this, the Cochrane Theatre. First up, you might find you get a bit of a kinky, perverted sort of sexual thrill out of it. And secondly, of course, the scent will help to mark them out as yours.
Be careful though, it does sting the eyes there. I expect it does. How would I know, you know? Pete, have you got any advice about sex, women, women, sex, anything like that?
Something like sort of eyes on their chests and
Yeah.
sort of like beards and things.
Yeah, they've got, kind of, yeah.
No.
No. Any sex? What do you do for sex?
I play with my winky normally. Yeah. Gotta be
so-
careful though, because it can make your wee come out a funny colour.
Yeah, I'm glad I asked, Pete. I really am. Thanks.
Well, that is sex dealt with. Will you please?
Get it on. Get it onward.
Will you put your hands together for our hobby correspondent, Simon Quinlan?
Shut up! Hello, it is I, Simon Quinlank. Listen to all the sentences that I'm going to say, including the sentence that I am saying now with my mouth and voice. In the beginning was the world, and the world was boring, and so I, Simon Quinlank, created hobbies for me and my flock to do together so that the world would not be boring anymore, so that on the contrary, it would be interesting. Look upon me with wonder, for truly I am the son of hobby and could do any hobby in the world better than all of you put together, you hobby idiots. However, here is a hobby that even you could do. What you will need for this hobby: a pair of scissors or a quality craft knife, some elastic bands, a flask of weak lemon drink, a photocopying machine, and a photocopy of my face. Look at it. This hobby is a good hobby, and although I will be the best at doing it, obviously, even you will be able to do it quite well. This hobby is called the Proving That Simon Quinlank is the King of All Hobbies hobby. What you need to do for this hobby: first, get a photocopy of my face. Oh, there it is again. Remember, if you are going to get a photocopy of my actual face, you will need to ask my permission first. If, however, you are only going to get a photocopy of a picture of my face, then you do not need to ask my permission. You already readily have my permission. Then, use the enlarger or de-enlarger of the photocopying machine to make the photocopy of my face fit your stupid face exactly. Then, drink your weak lemon drink. Quickly, drink it now. There'll be no time later. When you have done my last command, do my next command with the obedience and reverence that is due to me. Attach the photocopy of my face onto a piece of card and attach an elastic band. Now, for the next part of the hobby demonstration, I shall leave the stage. Then I shall come onto the stage again for no reason at all. That is comedy. For the next part of this hobby demonstration, I shall descend into the well of the theatre among you all, for I need to choose somebody who will be able to help to show what must be done next. Warning! It cannot just be any hobby idiot. You, stand up! Stand up! Sit down! See how I tease like a Belgian trollop. As I say, it must be a person of quality. They must have 3 good qualities. They must be trustworthy. They must have integrity, but most importantly, thirdly, they must look just a tiny, weeny little bit like the lead singer of Pulp, Jarvis Cocker. Close enough. Stand up, follow me, give this person a round of applause. Come on, hurry up! There's absolutely no haste whatsoever. We haven't got any time. There's literally no time at all. Now, no, come here. Do what I say, not what you say. Stand there. Stand there. Stand there. Stand there. Stand there. Stand there. Don't be afraid. Be afraid. Now, what is your name? Answer me!
Matthew.
Matthew. Now, Matthew, what I'd like you to do is place my wondrous face mask over your stupid, slightly Jarvis Cockerish face. Do it. Get close to this electrical microphone and say the following words after me. I am Simon Quinlank.
I am Simon Quinlank,
King of all hobbies.
King of all hobbies.
Look upon my wonders and despair.
Look upon my wonders and despair.
Let's go. I am Simon Quinlank. Keep going.
I am Simon Quinlank,
King of all hobbies.
King of all hobbies.
Look upon my wonders and despair.
Look upon my wonders
on
and
your
despair.
own. Do it.
Look upon my face in wonder. I am
Improvise. Simon Quinlank.
I am Simon Quinlank.
King of all hobbies.
King of all hobbies.
Look upon my wonders and despair.
Look upon my
Keep
wonders and
going.
despair. I am Simon Quinlank.
Keep
Look
going
upon
while
my
I
face.
speak.
I am
Keep going. Keep going. Keep
King
going.
of all
Keep speaking.
hobbies. Look upon my
This
wonders
hobby
and
is a good
despair.
hobby because keep going.
I am Simon Quinlank.
This hobby is a good hobby because keep
Look
going.
upon-
This hobby is a good hobby because after you've done it, you will feel good. Also, you will have the satisfaction of having to prove that I, Simon Quinlank, and in turn the world of hobby is good. Therefore, you will have helped yourself, although me mainly, obviously, as is right and proper. Well, good enough. 3 out of 10. Go back to the stage. Give them a round of applause. I can ask no more than you do your hobby. Go forth and hobby.
Simon Quinlank, that was
Mad, isn't he?
bit strange. Because it's 1995 at the moment, but maybe not in the future, eh? You never know. You don't know. I don't know. You know, I can't tell, can I? I'm not Russell Grant. I don't know when you're watching this. I'm sorry. It's 1995 now, and of course we're all mourning at the moment. Everyone in the theatre, because we've all heard news recently that John McCarthy and Jill Morell have just split up, which is tragic, obviously. I know it's terrible, you know, but at least she's free now, eh? Nice. And so it got us back to reading the old hostage accounts of the hostages. Oh, there it is.
That's right.
The hostage accounts.
Me and Rich, we quite like reading books. Now, I know a lot of you are students probably, but why not give it a go, you know? And there's
Yeah.
much wisdom there.
There's many words and things. I've been reading John McCarthy, Jill Morell's Some Other Rainbow.
Yeah, and I've been reading the diary of John McCarthy's cellmate, Brian Keenan,
Yeah.
It's called An Evil Cradling.
Well, they're both very good books. Do read them. They're both very good books. They've got very similar plots. But it doesn't really matter because they're written in such different styles. It's such a different perspective on the same experience that it's like reading two totally different stories altogether. We've actually found some examples of that to show you how two men can look at the same experience in totally different ways. These are extracts from exactly the same day.
Different books.
Different books.
The first extract now from Brian Keenan's Hostage Diary. Another faceless day. The darkness lifts and the routine again grinds into being with its crushing regularity. The food plate slides in. Dry bread, dirty water. Even the very act of nourishment itself has now become a form of torture.
John McCarthy, the same day. Breakfast with Brian again. He seemed cross about something. Grumpy pants. Stale crust again. What I wouldn't give for Nanny's eggy bread. Still, mustn't grumble. It is nice to try the cuisine of a different culture. When in Rome, as Mr. Kingsley Horse used to say at boarding school. Ha 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 ha.
Second extract from Brian Keenan's An Evil Cradling. My family's faces have faded from my memory. Sometimes for the briefest of seconds they appear in sharp focus, and then they're gone again, like the swallows after the summer. I wonder, will I recognise my sisters if I ever see them again? Will they recognise me? These bastards have stolen my present and my future, and now they're even stealing my very past.
John McCarthy. Brian was a bit tetchy again today. I told him to keep his pecker up, and he looked at me as if I was a nutty person. It's almost as if he doesn't like being chained to a wall in a tiny space with me. I'm trying to make the most of it. It's not half as bad as the places I had to sleep when I was backpacking round Europe in my year off. That youth hostel in Florence. Oh, ho-hum. I can cheer myself up by thinking of Jill and what she's been up to. She's probably going to give me a good telling off when I get home. Tea will be ruined. Ha 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 ha.
The last extract from Brian Keenan's An Evil Cradling. Today, the guards showed us pictures of their kids. One moment they attempt to engage us as other humans, with human emotions and human needs. The next, they deny us our most basic human rights and beat us like dogs. To call these men animals gives them a dignity they don't deserve.
I think Brian is very hard on the guards. In many ways, their predicament is much worse than ours. It can't be much fun guarding a grumpy man like Brian. I remember when I was a prefect at boarding school, the responsibility was almost too much to bear. Two very different books there. Very good book. This John McCarthy, John Morrell.
Yeah, this one's much better, obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
I like this way, the way it's been marketed. This is sort of like an airport romance. If you see here the picture on the front, you've got John McCarthy, Jill Morrell. They're kind of looking into the future. It's very romantic, looking into the future. If you notice there, Jill Morrell, she's laughing there. I don't know if you can see that, because she can see a bit further into the future than John can. Thinking, shall I tell him? Nah, it's a shame to waste it. But they're very good books. Please do go out and read them, and it's nice of us to give them the publicity. During the series, we asked people to send in things that they thought might interest or amuse us. Wrongly, as it turned out.
That's right. Could have been something you'd drawn, or made, or cut out of a magazine, or perhaps something that you'd found in a plastic bag in a wood.
So join us now as we take a trip down that dirt-covered lane that we like to call the gallery. And here it comes
out of the sky.
Brilliant. Doesn't usually do that, but while that's coming down, this is from Dave Moore of Sheffield. This is the last page of the book that his ex-girlfriend is currently reading. Thanks for that, Dave. You're a bit in the way there, Pete. Oh, sorry. Here we go. This is from Richard and Christopher Beckett of York. It's a picture, I don't know if it's a montage or an actual picture they've taken there. You can see it big up here. Of Michael Aspel with a duck on his lap. I'm sure it's perfectly innocent, but Michael does seem to be enjoying it quite a look, if you look at his face there.
This next submission is from Melanie and Sarah Warren, who live in Taunton. It's a collage they've made there of the playwright and culture thief Patrick Marber, our showbiz enemy. They've made him look like a juggler here, and he's juggling the severed heads of me and Rich. An unusual and meaningful image, clearly wasted on most of the audience here tonight.
Now, this is a lost photo that was found by Derek from Devises. He found it, this is a genuine story, in a book, being used as a bookmark in a Bible in a second-hand antiques market. I don't know if you can see that there. If you recognise the woman here or the dog, there's some distinguishing features that may help. If you recognise them, please let us know and we'll return this photo to its rightful owner, or failing that, we will inform the police about it. Pete, do you want to come out? Actually, I've got a special gallery the public aren't allowed to see. It's very exciting. It's got a blue goldfish in it. Would you like to come and see it? It's just through here. Come with me. You'll be perfectly safe. Bring Donnie as well.
Yes, all right.
The last bit in the gallery tonight is this. It's a postcard, right, which I picked up in a tourist shop in Oxford Street. It's quite small, so I've had it enlarged. There it is there. This postcard is a picture of a dog and a kitten there. And they're sat at a piano keyboard there. Then there's another kitten up there. It's not actually at the keyboard with them, it's just looking down on them two. With a sort of mixture of envy and contempt. You probably can't see that, but it is there, trust me. Spent quite a long time looking at this, trying to work out what's going on. What seems to have happened over here, one of two possibilities. Either this dog has sort of jumped up on a piano stool, or else this piano's been kind of sunk into the ground, and this is some kind of purpose-built pet music venue. But it's not that. He's jumped up on a stool there, and with his big, chunky paws, right, that dog is picking out like a bass melody on there. Then that kitten, that's a much smaller, more nimble-footed member of the animal kingdom. That's using its dainty feet to pick out like a treble melody over the top of that. And they're playing together there. That kitten, as I said, not involved. Just forget about that one for now. I'll cover it up to help you. If you look there, right, you see there's a music stand. But there's no music on it. So presumably what they're doing is some sort of jazz piece. Or some kind of improvised thing. Also, there's a lot of eye contact between the dog and the kitten there, which would support that idea. Like he's looking at him going, I'm going into A now. He's going, yes, fine. Adjusting accordingly. So a dog and a kitten there playing some sort of improvised music at piano. That kitten up there, as I said, not involved in that. I think that's probably because that kitten had a much more formal musical training. You know, it'd be all right with structured works, but it can't really adapt to this kind of free-form environment. Maybe on the way there, the three of them were in the van, had some kind of set list worked out, and that kitten was saying, we will be playing those songs we've rehearsed, won't we? And they were going, yeah, fine. Definitely. He was saying, we will be doing that Do the Boxer Beat by Joe Boxers that we've practiced. And they went, yeah, that's the first thing, top of the set list, mate. Definitely. Then they got there, three of them sat down, started off, do the Boxer, and then they just went off at a mad improvisational tangent. And he had to go up there. He couldn't do it. It's not music, just the noise. That kitten's looking across at them and he's saying to them to You pair of fucking lying cunts. Said we were going to do the fucking Joe Boxers thing. That dog's looking up at him. He's saying to him, "What's the matter, Simon? Can't you play jazz, mate?" "We can. We've been able to do it since we were 1. And he's going, "Yeah, I can. I could do it easy. I wanted to do what you'd said we'd do, the Joe Boxers. Like you said." And he's going, "Ah." Maybe what happened is like they knew that like a 2-way split on the money would be better than a 3-way split, right? But rather than go through the horrible formality of actually having to sack Simon out of the group, they just decided to start playing stuff they couldn't do. So they'd leave on his own, go up there, and then just stop coming altogether. Or maybe it's that there's some kind of sexual intrigue, right, between that dog and that kitten. So they wanted that one out of the picture. Now, you might look at that and say, no, that's stupid. Those 2 kittens are largely identical. Why, in Christ's name? Why would that dog choose to be attracted to that one over that one? And I say to you, well, cast your mind back, right? You remember Paul Robinson in Neighbours? Maybe that kitten's got a wonky lip. That makes it more attractive. He probably will have an affair with that one at some stage. But we don't know. Anything could happen. This is 6 months behind. You know. They could have a child, those 2. They could have a half dog, half kitten child. Called, for the sake of argument, Alan. So it was called that. And then suppose this Alan dog kitten creature would to go away for 6 months on some kind of unexplained trip and then come back. But instead of being, it would still be called Alan, but instead of being half dog, half kitten, it'd now be half dog, half worm, right? Nobody would mention that. They'd just go, "Alan, good to have you back, mate. You're the same as you always were." So, a postcard there of a dog and a kitten playing improvised music at a piano. And on the back of this postcard, right up here, it says, "Greetings from London." Side of London you don't see so often, that. But it's good there was someone there with a camera to get that when that happened, I was thinking.
All right, good. That was all right. Sounds like it went well.
All right. Thanks.
I'm proud of you.
Cheers.
I've just been to the bar to get a drink. I don't know
Yeah,
where
I know
Pete
this
went
you've
to.
been
Oh,
there.
Pete,
Yeah.
are you all right? No, it's funny. I found Pete actually with his head stuck down the toilet, you know, and it's as if someone had flushed it 5 or 6 times on top of his head, I imagine. And yeah, Donny Oddlegs was down there as well. It's very sad. I managed to get them out eventually. Yeah. You all right, Pete?
Yeah, I didn't see a blue goldfish.
No.
Saw a brown one, but
Right, yeah. What's the next subject we're going to look at, Stu?
The last subject we're going to be looking at tonight is the subject of religion. Now, personally, I'm very liberal about religion, in as much as I think that all major world religions are equal, insofar as, metaphorically speaking, they all suck a big dog's cock.
I think I'm probably a little more liberal than Stu about religion, as I was brought up as a Christian. So I think you should believe in Jesus too, like me, because it's true. Do you not believe in Jesus?
No.
But it's real.
Well,
Think about
no, I don't.
No, it is
Well,
real.
not R, it isn't.
It is, it's
No, it's not an R
Jesus.
situation, it's not.
Jesus is
Doesn't
real.
work like
no,
that.
it is, because my mum told me, right, that Jesus is real, right? And that he's everywhere all the time. He's omnipresent. He's watching us, you know, and he's everywhere. He's at my house. He's at your house. He'll be here tomorrow night at the Cochrane Theatre watching the Barron Knights.
He'll be on his own, won't he?
He will be on his own, but they were very popular once upon a time. It's everywhere you go.
That's rubbish, that. Isn't it? It really
Yes.
annoys me the way you get indoctrinated into these stupid medieval beliefs as kids,
it's
right?
not
'Cause there's no
stupid.
God and there's no Jesus. And
There
if we're to
is.
survive into the future, we have to abandon religious beliefs
Stu!
and admit that we have to get a new
it's
system.
Jesus, Stu. He's
Rich,
here in
I've
the
just
room. Can
been
you
over
see?
that.
No, he literally is. He's behind you.
Rich.
Tell him, everyone. He's behind you.
It's a bit early for the pantomime season.
No, but he is there, isn't he?
Rich, I've been over-
Yes,
No, I've been over- he
is.
doesn't exist.
He's up
He's
on the
not-
mountain blessing the little lambs. Look at his holy yet baleful eye. Oh, Stu,
All right,
he's
okay.
blessing Peter. How much love must be there in the heart of a man if he can love someone as humble and poor as Peter?
Okay, all right, if he's there-
One look at him.
If he's there, like you say,
He is.
if I turn
Oh,
round,
Jesus, yeah.
I'll see him, won't I?
Yes, of course, there's no need to say that. Just look.
Well,
surely.
obviously there's a reason to
Why?
say.
I don't understand.
Okay, I'll turn round
Yeah.
and I'll look for Jesus right now.
No!
It's not there,
But
Rich.
he was there, wasn't he? Yeah! See, he was.
Oh, no, he wasn't.
Oh, yes, he was.
Ah, fuck off.
He was.
Look,
Stu,
right,
he's back. He's on
what
the
we've gotta
road to
do,
Calvary.
get religion
Look,
out of
Stu.
the workplace,
Tell
get
him,
it out of
everyone.
schools.
He's behind. Come on.
You'll have to speak up. I'm very old now.
He's behind you.
Right, it doesn't exist, right? And you've got to look at it in a logical sense as
He's up on the
What?
cross, Stu. Look.
Richie doesn't.
Look at him. Oh, look at his suffering. He's suffering for you, Stu. For your
Wait, I'm-
sin.
okay, all right.
Jesus is there. Look.
All right, if he's there, like
Yeah.
if I turn round, I would see him, wouldn't I, with
Naturally,
my
yeah,
eyes?
you will. Quick. He's
Okay.
bedazzled by the lights. He can't find anywhere to hide. Quick, look. He's
I'm
looking-
going to turn round,
He
Rich,
can't find anywhere to hide.
and I'm
quickly.
going to look for Jesus right now.
Oh, he's in Pete's bed.
Where?
He's there, look.
There's
Jesus.
nothing there.
It's Jesus.
There's nothing there. It's
He's
obvious.
there, Stu.
No,
That's
Look,
Jesus.
if you look, all major world wars, right, all caused by religion, you'd have to like abandon it and get some kind of proper system
Stu,
going.
it's Jesus.
of
He's
belief
back.
based
He's
on
taking
logic.
the mickey out of you.
Unfair,
Oh, Stu, he's
you know,
doing that,
and,
like
like, on what
Stu,
we
he's
can
showing
see
his
to be
pants.
true,
Oh,
not on things
Jesus
that we
showing
should
his arse
believe
at
in
you.
some
Stu.
stupid way.
Stu, he's
'Cause
putting
that doesn't
cocks
make
in
any
your mouth.
sense,
Jesus
no.
Christ is
Just have
putting
to-
cocks in. He's
That's the
wanking
thing,
you off,
know.
Stu.
Like, that's not
Jesus
make any
is
sense.
wanking you off,
Rich,
Stu.
I've been over it so
He
many
is.
times with you before.
Look, he's taking the piss.
Jesus,
Holy Jesus,
you
Lord of
are
mankind,
real.
Lord of the dance, Jesus.
Actually, I'm not the real Jesus.
You're not the real. Well, who in God's name are you then?
I am Simon Quinlag. And this is my helping Jesus to be omnipresent all the time hobby. I am one of Jesus' helpers, helping him out.
Help
His help.
Yes, that's right, Rich and Stu. You see, Jesus finds it very difficult to be omnipresent all the time. So this hobby, my hobby, is the hobby of helping Jesus to be omnipresent all the time by dressing up as Jesus and being at the places that Jesus cannot be. Quickly, drink your weak lemon drink now. Remember, weak lemon drink is my blood. Drink it in remembrance of me and Jesus. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Quincuncuum. So, Rich and Stu and everybody here and at home, remember, if you ever did happen to see two Jesuses in the same place at the same time, say at a toy shop or at a Christmas parade, remember, Jesus is real, but that's just one of his helpers helping him out through a busy period.
Listen, no,
Don't touch me.
Sorry. I like what you're trying to do. It's very good in many ways. But I think what you've done, Simon, is you've confused Jesus of Nazareth, the Lamb Prince, with Father Christmas, haven't you?
I think so, son.
You have.
Ah, yes, I have, yes.
Yeah.
Still, it is a good hobby by any standards.
Well, it isn't. I mean,
That's
it's
Father
not.
Christmas
It is a
beard.
good hobby and there's an end on it.
It's an old woman.
Shut up! Rich and Stu, I think you are really good. And I collect autographs of celebrities I think are really good. Please, could I have your autographs for my hobby collection? Answer me!
Yeah, sure, fine.
Please, sign there.
Okay, still got a little postcard here.
This hobby is called telling minor celebrities you think they're really good and asking for their autographs, when in reality you think they're rubbish, and then when they do give you their autographs, you rip up their autographs in front of their astonished minor celebrity faces.
There you go. We've got it on a little card picture.
Thank you
for
very
That's
much,
nice,
that's
isn't
just what I want. Not really! Ha 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 ha! I did not want it at all! I
Damn him.
it? You shut up. Well, that's the end of the show. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you're watching it on video, if you like the bits you like, you could rewind and watch them again. Just a suggestion. So, thanks for coming along. See ya. Bye.
Come on. Come on.
Well, come on in.
The actor Kevin Elton, please.
I love it.
Bye.
That was fun.
Carry on sweeping, you.
It's Newcastle tomorrow, Edinburgh on Friday, all right?